Alright, this is Daniel King demonstrating my work in progress game Field of Cures version 0.5. This is not the finished 0.5, this is just demonstrating what I've finished so far. So I've got 8 levels that kind of introduce game mechanics slowly. I need a lot more tutorial text to actually explain to the player how all this stuff works, but the mechanics are here. So level 1 is just some plants have flowers, some don't. Crossbreed the ones with flowers. I get fruit. Super duper simple. Level 1. Level 2, we've got some plants are more productive than others. So the goal here is to crossbreed the productive plants with the fruit plants. And then this is where kind of the core crossbreeding mechanic comes in. You can see based on these, the dots kind of shows you the gene trait number, like 5 purple dots up here versus 1 purple dot up here. So when there are white dots, that means that there's a recessive trait. It's not being expressed, but it is there. So let's cross this. And in many, there's elements of randomness involved in the offspring. So sometimes he just takes a couple generations, but now we should be able to do this. Oh, again. So the green fruit means that there's a fruit trait there, but it's not the correct one. You have to cross a green with a green in the hopes of getting an orange. And the oranges are what we want. So once we have this correct plant created, the level is easy to finish. So a note about the graphics. These plant graphics were designed by a freelancer, a very talented freelancer I found. I had to modify them a little bit. After I've been playing around with these long enough, I've realized that I'm going to have to go back and ask the freelancer to do another iteration because the spots I put in after the fact, but it would be much better if the spots were like actually kind of diegetically part of the plant rather than just kind of layered on top. So yeah, I'm going to go back to the freelancer and see about just doing this in a more artful way. Okay, and that's level 2, just talking about high productivity plants. Level 3, we've got some plants are drought resistant, others are not. In this game, what happens is you've got your thermometer over here. The temperature goes up and down depending on the month, but if there's a lot of greenhouse gases up in the sky represented by these gray blocks, your temperature will go higher, which causes increasing chances of plants just being killed by heat, which you'll see shortly. So what we want to do here is cross the drought-resistant plant with the fruit plant. A number of them get killed by heat, but enough of them have survived. Okay, so what we wanted was this guy, drought-resistant plant with a fruit trait. Let's cross you and you. So you can see the sparks will land on the drought-resistant plants, but not burn them until it gets to, if the temperature just maxes out, then nothing can survive. Let's cross you and you. Okay, so this is the kind of the target plants of this level. Again, I'm going to need to have like a tutorial screen saying like, crossbreed this one, and then you can win. And these first 8 levels are really just training levels. They're like all tutorial levels. Alright, now I can win. I can harvest fruits because these plants are resistant to the amount of heat in the game right now. Although probably in the next round they won't be, because July is a bad month. Yep. At a certain point, it's just too hot. Man, it's kind of a close shave, isn't it? There we go. All right. So now I can talk about the theme of the game. The point of the game is that you're just a guy trying to harvest fruit. There's a certain number of fruit you've got to harvest every level, but the world is heating up, and depending on how much pollution's in the sky, depending on how much pollution's being added to the sky every turn, based on the number of smokestacks there are, it gets hotter and hotter, and eventually nothing can survive, and the world dies. That's just the premise, basically. So here, we're going to crossbreed for productivity and drought resistance. So it's taken a lot of tuning to get these levels to deliver the intended message, because for a level like this, the first thing I had to do was like, well, can you win this level by ignoring the drought resistant trait completely? In fact, let's try to do that right now. Let's say that like, I don't need to worry about drought resistance, I'm just going to crossbreed productive fruit plants and I should be fine. The issue with that is it always takes a little bit of time to ramp up. During that time, the heat is doing a lot of damage. Let's see here. Okay. I might be able to win this. Alright, we're going into the month of May next. Yep. Still, maybe. Going into July. Oof. Okay. If you're down to 0 or 1 plants left, you lose the level. So what we've demonstrated is, I'm going to skip to level 4, that I must breed for the drought-resistant trait before going for the fruit. So let's see. I'm going to cross a productive plant with a drought-resistant plant. We're going to cross a productive plant with these hybrids that are carrying the recessive traits. And here's where you just kind of run into the fickle nature of reproduction. There we go. Okay, so now we can easily breed plants that will survive most heat. And we've got a lot of them. So now we're going to cross this plant with this flower plant. Now you may have noticed that every turn there's just kind of a free plant that pops up in the field. Just kind of a little freebie plant. This has been tuned to give you traits that are missing from the map. So like if there are no fruit plants, a fruit plant should pop up for you. It's kind of it's a balancing sort of rubber banding effect. It's necessary because the field is so small. Originally there were a lot more plants on screen at once, but as the plants got more detailed, I had to zoom in. So there were 25 plants on screen before, now there's only 14. So I had to tune the freebies to just kind of make up for not having very much biodiversity on screen. Alright, so what we want is this guy who also has fruit. So let's try this. Alright, getting closer. Weather's getting hotter. Oh, that wasn't good. Alright, this should... Okay, that's our target plant right there. Boom, boom. Alright, they're all resistant, hooray. And again, like, these levels are basically just training levels. Okay, on to level 5. Level 5, we introduce the carbon sequestering trait. So, certain root systems in this game are very, very good at sucking greenhouse gases out of the atmosphere. Even faster than those greenhouse gases get put in there in this level. Oof. So if we just breed a few generations of this, fighting against the 4 smokestacks here. So we've gotten this guy to a pretty good state. Now we have time to breed some carbon sequestering fruit plants. I don't think I explained this earlier, but the top leaf traits are productivity, the like body arm traits are the drought resistance, and the root systems represent the carbon sequestering ability of the plant. And now we can clean this guy and produce fruit at the same time, thereby coasting to victory in level 5, I believe this is. So good to point out, again, like a lot of these graphics are still just placeholder graphics. The plants look good, but because of the amount of information I need to put on them, I think they could use another iteration. The game lacks tutorial text. It has only the most basic instructions in it. So there's a lot of work still to do. Yeah, and then at this point, we just get into like, okay, well, here's all the genetics, and here's a lot of smokestacks and a lot of pollution. So the only way to survive this level is to, I think first you have to make a productive resistant plant, then a productive resistant sequestering plant, and then you cross that with a fruit plant to win. Otherwise, you'll just burn. So I can talk for a moment. These are the core mechanics I've been working on. Just like there are natural genetic traits in the world that you're crossbreeding, and I kind of, in a weird way, I take an influence from Missile Command. Missile Command being a game about just there are missiles destroying you, and you're just trying to resist it as best you can. This game is similar in that like there's climate change is destroying you, and you're just trying to hold out to win a level. However, this goes beyond that. In version 0.6, there's going to be all these advanced features that talk about like passing legislation to reduce the pollution, genetic engineering of the plants, geoengineering schemes, all kinds of stuff like that. All the things that I've been reading about for years, I want to kind of put into another layer on top of this. Maybe like every 6 months, you just get these options for like, okay, let's try to do something, and you have to choose what to do. That's where my head is at right now. I have all kinds of notes about things I need to fix, directions I want to take this, but this is what I've been working on as of June 16th, 2022. I'll see you next time.